Okay, everyone. I see everyone logging in now. Just waiting for a few more people to get on the show. Just waiting for just a few more people. If you could just bear with me. All right. Hello, Yana. Hello, everyone that's logging in right now. Hello, Peter. Hello. Just waiting for the first speaker to get in. And that's Dorian. Waiting for him. I don't see him on yet. Just waiting for him to log on. And we can get the show going. All right. While he's getting ready to log on, but usually I start the show off by letting everyone know my name and the purpose of this show. But before I go any further, I want to start this show off by being special in a special way, by letting everyone know that just a couple of days ago in California, the world found out about a WWE wrestler who was a father that sacrificed himself for his son. You don't have to be a WWE fan to understand the heroic attitude that he had towards himself and his son, telling the lifeguards to save his son first. Seconds after they saved him, he got swallowed by the rip wave. So right now, what I want to do right now is do a 10-bell salute in a moment of silence for Shad Gaspard, former WWE wrestler Shad Gaspard, who was a devoted father and that risked his life saving his son. And the 10-bell salute right now. Moment of silence. God bless Shad Gaspard, and may he rest in peace. And most importantly, I thank him very, very much for showing the world why fathers are important by doing just that, what he did. Now, my name is Arcadio Santana, and this is Fathers Are Important, the podcast show. I did this page for not only to help the world understand why fathers are important, but most importantly, I want to help everybody. This page is for fathers who may be going through certain situations to use this page as an outlet to speak out and let their voice be heard. This page is also for fathers that may be inactive in their child's life, and that's looked at as society as deadbeat fathers. So my goal with high hopes is to have this podcast, this page that you all are seeing with me putting post up after post after post up, and letting those fathers that may be inactive and help them understand and spark their brain and say, you know what, let me come back to my son now that I understand why fathers are important. And also, this page, as you can see, for everyone else that noticed, not only is it for those two things that I just said, but it's also to raise awareness for parental alienation. Now, without further ado, I want to start with my first guest. As of right now, my first guest, that is Mr. Drummond. Here we go. Waiting to connect with him.
Hey, man.
How you doing? I said your name already, but why don't you tell everybody your name and where you're from?
What's good, brother? First and foremost, thank you for having me on your show, bro. Like I said, I'm proud of what you're doing, spreading awareness. I go by the name of Mr. Drummond, and I'm from Island, New York.
Absolutely. So, please share with us why you personally feel why fathers are important. And if you have a past experience with fathers, if you're a father yourself, or personally your experience with your father, please share it with everyone.
Copy. So for those who either those who are not new to my page or who've been following the process and journey that I've been doing and talking about, I grew up in the foster care system, and then I was eventually adopted. And I did have both adopted parents, but within that adopted household, I grew up in a broken foundation, a broken family. So, especially these past recent years after my parents moved to Connecticut in 2016, I realized the importance of having a type of father figure in your life, and especially when my adopted father got sick. I think especially important because a man's a man supposed to be the provider of the house, a man supposed to lead by example, and we can do a lot in terms of the development of our kids and who we try to raise. So between our daughters or sons, you need that sense of manliness in terms of just teaching them, like, kind of lay the bricks of the foundation, what it needs to be like as to be the support of the man.
Exactly. Now I did my homework on you, and you're pretty much a really good motivational speaker that I've noticed as well. Would you mind sharing us some of your history as well, like you briefly did?
Yeah, sure. So I found purpose, and pretty much what my story is I was, when I was born and brought into this world, I was born cocaine in my system. And from there, that would be the reason why I was shipped into foster care system as well as my two siblings. And I think about everything that I've been through, and it's like when you hear my story, it's like it's nonstop. It's always been something, from things that I brought upon myself as a young man, but also things that was out of my control. And I was just looking around the foundation within my siblings the past few years, from my from my adopted family, and when I met my bio family in 2017, I was just looking at everybody, and I'm like, as a lot of adults were broken, or were dealing or were living with some type of trauma from our childhood. And I just started thinking deeper about the importance of just like having your stuff together before you lay up with somebody, or the importance of having your stuff together as a group, as the father and a mother before you bring a child in this world. And I was born into brokenness, and I want people to understand as a kid, you don't get to control what type of environment, income, race, culture you're born into. So I just started looking at my situation, and when I was in a dark place these past few years, I was just wondering, thinking like, well, what if I would have had like a different upbringing? You know what I mean? I started thinking about even deeper, like what type of mindset was my mom and my bio mom, my bio father in to have a kid and be doing cocaine at the same time, or like as a father to be laying up with somebody that's doing cocaine at the same time. So I just started thinking deeper, and I found purpose by just sharing my story. There's a lot of kids that are broken, that are growing up into in adulthood with brokenness, some type of trauma, and as an adult, they have to like try to fix themselves from things that they didn't bring upon themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, purpose by just sharing my story.
Now, how like there's not a lot of people that would be able to get to where you're at, especially with what you just shared with us about how obviously your mother and father wasn't there, especially for you to be a foster child. Now, how have your relationship been with your father since then? As you're an adult now.
So my bio dad.
Yes.
So when I found my bio mom in 2017, that was a long process itself, because it wasn't when I turned 18 when I first saw my birth certificate for the first time. And on my certificate, there was no information about my dad, just my bio mom. So when I found her in 2017 through Facebook, and then I met her in the summer of 2017, I had questions about who was my father, and she called him, and I chopped it up with him, and it was just a sense of like, when am I gonna go see him? You know what I mean? And in the times that I talked to him a little bit in 2017, towards the end of it, I caught myself becoming that little boy again that was like getting frustrated and crying, because it was like every time that we was trying to set up something, it was always something else came up. You know what I mean? I found out he's Puerto Rican. I found out he was telling me that I have a lot of family and parents and cousins on in Puerto Rico. And it got to a certain point down, like it's like I was getting disappointed. So I had to reel myself back. It's like, you're 24 now, you're a grown man. This is not my job to try to establish something if he's not going to try to like do anything with it. So from there, man, it was just like we never talked like that. And then last time I spoke to him was November 2018, when I saw my bio mom just because it was around Thanksgiving, and she was in the car with me, and someone was calling her phone, and she just clicked it, like hung up, and I'm like, who is that? Like, pick up. And she's like, oh, it's your father. You're not gonna want to talk to him. So I was like, not calling back. And when I called him back, he was like, hey, what's up? Who's this? I'm like, it's Dorian. He's like, oh, my son. I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? He's like, when you gonna come see me? And I'm like, when you gonna come see me? So since then, he's just been following me on social media. He's always liking my photos. He's always sliding into my DM and commenting on my IG stories, but it's still never like, yo, can we talk, chop it up, or anything? And I don't really like interact back with it, but that's pretty much.
So he never seen or understood the importance of why fathers are important.
For sure, yes. And he's still following me. He's gonna probably he likes like literally every story and post that I post up. He likes everything.
Well, if you were to talk to your dad right now to get him to understand why fathers are important, and not just your dad, because what I also want people to understand is that children deserve both parents. Not one, both. It takes two human beings to create another human being. So therefore, in your situation, if you were to take time out and talk to your mother and father to get them to understand why fathers are important and mothers are important, what would your message be to the both of them right now, if they were watching?
Well, I spoke to my mom, but if they were together, I would let them both know, like, I forgive them. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, and I believe that everything happens for a reason. And God is blessing me, and He's using me in amazing ways. So I would say I forgive them both. And I would tell them that I'm open to having a relationship with them if they're open as well, because this is not going to be a one-sided thing as I need to be proving myself to y'all. Like, y'all lost me at birth. You know what I mean? And I would just let them know just in the fact of just like, I would love to have a relationship with you, man. I'm yearning to know more about my other side. I'm yearning to know about my other culture. I would love for you to be a part of my life, because there's some things that I went through with my siblings that could have possibly easily been avoided if y'all two had your stuff together. And it's not about being perfect. It has nothing to do about like how much money you have as parents or the type of job you have, in terms of the mindset, in terms of like just what you guys doing in life and the type of foundation y'all set. So I'm looking back at the mistakes that I was kind of born into, and I'm just trying to show them now that like, yo, you should be proud of the son that y'all had today. Like, look at me. You know what I mean? Like, who would have thought that this, or like, I would have came this far. So I would have just let them know that.
I agree as well, and especially for you to be on here today, because in your situation, always remember this: you are not alone.
Thanks.
There's thousands and thousands of people that grew up in the same exact situation that you are in. Right now, I want to ask everybody that's viewing this and that knows Dorian personally, I want to ask everybody to do two things for me and him. I want everybody to comment with blue hearts for him, and most importantly, since he's one of my own, since he's half black and half Puerto Rican like me, I want everybody to comment with blue hearts and the Puerto Rican flag in honor for this man right here, because what you did personally, you survived, and it's incredible at the fact that how your story is amazing for you to come from the bottom all the way to where you're at right now. It's incredible.
Appreciate it, man.
And you have my respect. And is there any advice you would like to give anybody personally, yourself, whoever may be going through the same situation as you right now?
Any advice I would just pretty much say to those people is that you could do two things. You can break the cycle, or you can continue with it. And when it comes to breaking the cycle, it comes with a lot of sacrifice. You don't get the glory at the end of the day. But just think about those who are possibly coming at it behind you, whether it's your nieces or your nephews, cousins, or your own kids. And that's my message to those that currently are in my current situation, younger than me or around the same age. I'm in my mid-20s. Take care of your stuff, man. Get healed. And just make sure that you have a solid foundation within God and within yourself before you lay up with somebody, man, because a lot of kids are being born into brokenness, and we don't we don't like to we don't look back at some of the things that what we're doing in terms of why certain kids grow up to be the way they are.
Exactly. It's very important that you made that information right there. For those of you that are new to viewing this right now, my name is Arcadio Santana, and this is Fathers Are Important. And my first guest speaker right here, can you let them know where you're from, your name and where you're from once again?
Again, I go by the name of Mr. Drummond, the man of many talents. I'm a motivation speaker, and I'm from Long Island, New York.
Exactly. And this, like I said, this is Fathers Are Important. I ask everyone right now to take their time out and follow Mr. Drummond, and most importantly, I ask everybody to take their time out to follow Fathers Are Important. There will be many more people talking on this page, and many more people like this young man right here that have overcome the odds. You fought a lot of demons. And quite possibly you cheated death a lot of times as well. And you're still here.
Yeah.
You're still here.
That's God.
You're still here. And I'll give you a round of applause. A round of applause for doing what you're doing. For doing what you're doing and hanging in there and even being here on this show to share your experience with the world. And I've also personally in the past, I've known you've seen that we've linked up by talking once before when I've asked to put a picture of you and your niece on there. Can you share a little bit about that with us as well, with your relationship with your niece?
Of course. So like I said, growing up in my adopted home, my parents, when they adopted us, they in their 50s, and most of their family had already passed away. So as a child growing up, I didn't understand or have the experience of having grandparents or aunties or uncles. And I'm a big firm believer as whatever I didn't have growing up, let me make sure the people that come behind me don't share that same experience. So when God blessed me with my first niece, I was just like, yo, I'm gonna be that uncle, that cool uncle for her that like she could always call on and lean on, and I just want to be involved in her life because I know the times that I wasn't clicking right with my parents, auntie, a call from an auntie or uncle, or going to grandma's house or whatever, that could have been extremely helpful. So also I'm realizing by just like she's my little rider, man, like she's like my little best friend, like you know what I mean, and by me, the way that the relationship that I have with my niece is also like preparing me for fatherhood in a way, because like I said, a lot of people think she is my daughter. Like that's how close we are, and it's teaching me things about me as a man in terms of having more patience with girls and women in general. It's bringing me a more softer side out of me because as a man we gotta be tough, and I look forward to the day that she can do the same thing for my kids.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. And you are an incredible person, and excuse me, just the fact that I've seen you, like when I seen that picture, I automatically thought you were the father. I automatically thought you were the father, so I'm like, oh, let me put Fathers Are Important, and you explained it to me, and I'm like, wow, the fact that you're just an uncle and you're doing stuff like that, I'm like, wow, and not to mention she does favor you a little bit. I see that as well. That's another reason why I thought that was your daughter. But the fact that you're doing that much, you're a motivational speaker, you cheated death, and you're being a good role model to your niece. What is there any other achievements that you would like to mention to us?
Well, yeah, and I guess before I get to achievements, the main reason why like I'm doing that with just my nieces and nephew is because my family right now is broken. Like it's still currently broken, and I see the cycle being passed. Like if someone does not step up, it's going to be passed down to them, and I don't want her to go through that. You know what I mean? And other than that, in terms of achievements, I am a writer. Do a lot of writing as well, like blog writing and things of that such. Have I posted most of my content? No, I haven't. I do life coaching and relationship advice. So for anybody who's currently going through any relationship issues, I've been doing one-on-one calls during this quarantine. And I also do group fitness as well. I have a history of doing a lot of group fitness classes, things of that such. I acted a little bit a few years ago. I was in an episode of Ray Donovan on Law and Order. I model. I call myself the man of many talents, and I'm just trying to be a role model for men and women of all ages, just to show people that whatever you come from, it doesn't matter where you start, it only matters where you finish. And I just want to be transparent and real and genuine because social media, there's a lot of fakeness going on as well. So if I could be the one,
Yeah, it is.
the ones, why not? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys.
Man of many, a man of many talents, but most importantly, you're holding it down for New York. Not, and no disrespect to, because I do realize that there's other people that are on here that are not in New York, but you're holding it down and you're making all of us proud. One more time, everybody, I want to give this man a round of applause, and if you all could clap, send blue hearts and the Puerto Rican flag right now representing for him and his culture, our culture as well. I want to ask you all to do that. And once again, thank you for taking the time out being on this show.
No, I thank you because, one, you're doing something that it does not get a lot of highlight. You know what I mean? Especially as a man of color, we're projected and we're pretty much sold as an image on social media, and the new don't step up. We're in jail, we're doing violence, and I wanted to say thank you because there's a lot of men that are trying to be in their kids' lives and are going through a lot of stuff right now. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. For those of you that are watching, my reason for doing this page is mainly for what I personally went through in my life, recently in my life. And I have a 1-year-old son, and my entire relationship with my son's mother went left field, and I was verbally abused, physically abused, mentally abused, and I dealt with racism from her as well. That's another story. But I wanted to turn a negative in my life, which is what I dealt with her, into a positive. And this, being on here with you, being on here with everyone, this makes me happy. This cures my heart. This heals my heart from being broken. And the fact that I'm on here with you, once again, I thank you because, again, hearing you share your story heals my heart. Hearing everybody on episode 4, 3, 2, all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all episodes, it heals my heart a lot. So once again, everybody that are watching, thank you for being on this show. And one more time, can you let everybody know your name and where you're from?
I go by the name of Mr. Drummond, the man of many talents, and I'm from Long Island, New York.
That's right. Everybody, please take this time out and follow him. And also, please take this time out that are new to this page. Please follow Fathers on Point. I want to thank you once again. And I'm going to invite you back onto the show once again real soon.
Appreciate it. God bless you, man.
Hold your head up, and most importantly, God bless.
Thank you. Peace out.
All right, now.